What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside podcast. We are back today, and we are reacting to the NBA Finals. We got a Game 7. Brian, your prediction came true. We are going to sudden death.
Yes, we are.
Anything can happen. Um, just your thoughts on what transpired and the fact that we are going to a do or die Game 7.
Okay, so my thoughts on this. I am excited we finally get another Game 7 in the final. I think this is the fifth or fourth one since 2000. We got a Game 7 in the NBA Finals series. The last one being in 2016. We all know the infamous Cavs and Warriors series. I'm glad to see another Game 7, and it's against two good basketball teams. If it was a Game 7 against garbage or boring teams, then I would be like, okay, whatever, no one cares. But it's good players on both ends. The series has been back and forth the whole time. I'm looking forward to it, man. This is an exciting thing. It's finally a good time. About time we got a really good finals series. Last good one we had was in 2021, in my opinion. 2022 had moments, but overall, it doesn't hold up a candle to this one. So I'm excited for the Game 7, man.
Yeah, I'm excited too. The fact that majority of the people thought the series was going to end in like 5 or 6. I thought it was going to end in 6, just for the simple fact that over time I thought that the Thunder were going to figure out Indiana, and Indiana was going to have a hard time scoring against the Thunder's perimeter defense. And to a certain extent, that's been the case. But Indiana, just overall, I think Rick Carlisle's coaching has really cemented himself as one of the best coaches we've ever seen, and he has really gotten his troops to play well. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been the greatest, obviously dealing with the calf injury, but even you still had other guys contribute, like TJ McConnell, like Obi Toppin, Siakam, Benedict Mathurin had a 27-point game. Nemhard, he's playing great defense against Shea at a certain extent. You have every person who's in the rotation minus Thomas Bryant and Miles Turner is contributing to a certain extent. So you have to hang your hat on that. And their depth is just hard to really figure out, because you have one guy, he'll come in, he'll shoot a bunch of threes and he'll get it going. You have another guy come in, he'll steal a ball or two off an inbound and he'll get a layup or two or hit a mid-range shot, TJ McConnell. And then you look at your star players, they don't have to go for 30, they don't have to go for 40, because you have a bunch of role players. You have a rotation of guys that come in and they do their job. They do what they're supposed to do, and they're winning off of depth alone. While with OKC, on the other hand, yeah, they have some dudes that are pretty good that get the job done, but it's not to the extent of a Pacers who they have a bunch of guys that can do all different things. They can defend, they need a rebound, they need to block a shot, they need to get a steal, they need to hit a shot, mid-range shot, three-point shot. They have so many different people that they can call on to get the job done. While with the Thunder, yeah, they got Chet, they got Jalen Williams, they got Shea, but a lot of the other guys are like specialists. Dort, he's done a lot better from the three-point line, but he can be hot and cold at times, especially in the playoffs. Chet, he's definitely been very cold offensively this entire series. He's been a little underwhelming. He's been very aggressive. He's had a couple of good games offensively, but for the most part, he's been a liability. And then you have guys like Isaiah Joe. You have guys like Aaron Wiggins that at home they might play well, but on the road you're trying to figure out where they at. Where's that elite shooting that was at home? Why can't it transfer to Indiana? So Thunder, it's their offense can, and I said this beginning of the series, their offense can at times be a little hard to score. They have difficulty of scoring a lot of times, and that has played into the hands of Indiana. And yeah, that's really my thoughts on it. Let me ask you this, just your thoughts on TJ McConnell, because TJ McConnell, bro, I feel like I'm going back to like the days of Matthew Dellavedova, where you just have this small guard who comes out of nowhere, and he's just giving the other team the business. He's a I don't know what to say, but just your thoughts on what you've seen from TJ McConnell.
Now, I'm going to preface this by saying once that game got to halftime, bro, I did not turn and tune into a single second after that because I said this is a blowout. The Thunder ain't even come to play. The people are playing terrible. It's over for them on this game. Get them next. We get them next game. But TJ McConnell, he has been really well. He ain't really unsung anymore. Everybody hip to his game now, but he has been an unsung guy for the Pacers this series because he is everywhere and he is a pest. And he's the reason why Tyrese Halliburton really only had to play 23 minutes that last game because TJ McConnell stepped in. He got more minutes, which I was glad that Carlisle did compared to last game. I was like, TJ McConnell didn't play nearly enough as he should have in that second half when he was doing really good. So I'm like, I hope in game 6 they would give him more minutes, and they did. And TJ McConnell has this dude. This is a scrappy dude, man. I'm telling you, like, it is insane. Like, he reminds me of like an older generation player because the way he just plays the game, like his game isn't flashy at all. He's not doing a whole bunch of ISO ball and nothing. Like, he's literally just he's like fundamental guy. Like, that's literally, he's playing playground basketball, not playground basketball, but fundamental basketball, and it's working really well for the Pacers. He's scrappy on defense. This dude, man, he's been a baller for them.
And you know another thing. Shout out. Matter of fact, let me share my screen real quick because there's this guy on Twitter who broke it down exactly how Rick Carlisle, because Rick Carlisle did a fantastic job that game coaching. It wasn't just the fact that OKC they just decided we're not going to play low energy. Like, no, Rick Carlisle actually did a really good job. Shout out to this dude. Great. Yeah, shout out to this dude right here, man. He really broke it down. And one of the things, I hope this don't flag us, but one of the things whatever. But so one of the things that Rick Carlisle did in game 5 was the fact that Indiana, they were putting a lot more ball pressure, 94 feet, as you can see with Nembhard, and OKC, they would have Chet do like a high screen towards the half court or even before the half court, and that would give Shea free to do whatever he wanted. In game 6, they elected to be more conservative, right? Let OKC get the ball down half court and let Shea get towards the nail, and then they would double. They would send McConnell. Or another thing that Indiana has been doing this entire series that I didn't notice is the guard-to-guard switching. So, like, they would have McConnell, they would have Mathurin, they would have Nembhard, and they would have Mathurin switch off with Shea. And at times it would work. Game 5, it didn't really work. They made an adjustment, and they were able to really frustrate Shea a lot of the game. And that's one of the things that I really got to tip my hat off when it comes to Rick Carlisle and that coaching staff. It felt like when you watch the film, it feels almost NFL-ish in terms of the schematics and how they just scheme everything defensively when it comes to they have that person in the nail to prevent dribble penetration in the middle of the court, and just the way that they guard in the pick and roll. They'll have Tyrese Halliburton, he'll hard hedge, while they'll have McConnell and Mathurin, or McConnell, Nembhard, the guards switch. It's amazing how they're able to game plan. That just lets you know why coaching in the NBA matters. Is for these moments alone. It's for these NBA Finals moments when your team is not the most talented, but you have the better coach. You have the coaching advantage. And this is why it's valuable to have an experienced, a great coach like Rick Carlisle that's won before, that adapts over time. It's, for crying out loud, he's been in the league for so long. He's been in the league since the early 2000s. And he's been adapting over and over again. He was able to coach like crazy against that super team in Miami Heat with a prime LeBron. Dwayne Wade was still in his prime. Chris Bosh, he was still in his prime. And they were able to beat that all-time great team. And now you're playing an OKC team that won 68 games. one
Mm-hmm.
of the greatest defensive teams we ever seen, the MVP, an all NBA caliber player in Jalen Williams and Chet. The way he's looking, he might be an all NBA caliber player one day. And the fact that they're able to get this series to a seventh game, it's tied 3-3, is amazing. Because when you look at Tyrese Halliburton, you say, okay, Tyrese Halliburton, this guy, he's the offense, he's the initiator, he's the guy that we need to win this game. But even still, even though he's limited, Rick Carlisle continues to find ways where, even though Tyrese Halliburton is not playing the best basketball, he's not able to explode at the way that he wants to, he still has other guys that he can call the number and bring into the game and still be effective. Even though they lost game 5, they were very competitive. Remember, they were down a good portion of that game by like double digits, and then they came back into the game, and then middle of the fourth quarter, OKC made the run. But for the most part, outside of game 2, the Pacers have been in this game, in every game. They've been competitive. When OKC makes a run, they have a counter. Now OKC still able to do their thing. Shea has been amazing, but for the most part, the Pacers have been competitive in every single game, and that boils down to Rick Carlisle and his coaching and his ability to get the best out of his players, despite the fact that Tyrese Halliburton is limited with that injury. Let me give your thoughts on what you saw from Tyrese Halliburton, because Tyrese Halliburton, everybody knows, if you've been paying attention, he's dealing with a calf injury. And there was a lot of concerns coming into the game. Will he play? Will he not? I had confidence he was going to play. But right calf strains are a huge deal, because what happened to Kevin Durant? He tore his Achilles against the Raptors back in 2019. So you have to be very careful when it comes to those type of injuries. He played, and he looked fantastic. What did you think about Tyrese Halliburton in that game?
Much better, much more efficient from the 3-point line this game. Seemed like he found his shot. Let me see if I could pull up some numbers.
I got you. Let me share that screen.
Oh crap! I hit the wrong thing. I did not mean to do that.
Oh shit. Yeah.
That game was Thursday. Yes.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, so boom, Tyrese Halliburton. He shot 5 for 12 from the field. That's a little under 50%. 3 for 7 from 3, which isn't the greatest, but it's much better than he was shooting before. I tell you that much. Only had 14 points, but hey, when
in
you
23
get
minutes,
yeah, I know, in 23 minutes. When you get contributions from everybody, you get a Obi Toppin 20-point game leading scorer. Siakam didn't have a super phenomenal game, but he had 16 points and 13 boards. So everyone was getting contribution. I mean, shoot, TJ McConnell had a nice 12 points. Yeah, like everyone was contributing. He ain't have to do a whole bunch of things, but Tyrese Halliburton, he was facilitating. He was making sure the offense was on schedule. He was making sure the offense was flowing efficiently. He wasn't doing too much out there. And I know he had 12 shot attempts, which is pretty on par with everybody else that was getting good. So he was aggressive in that department. So I know he relied on a lot of jump shots because, his calf, he's not really super explosive right now. He's not going to blow by a defender or anything like that. So he's taking more jump shots, but it also flowed well within the offense. And I know he only had, you see his stats, only 5 assists, but he's doing other things to set up players outside of just directly assisting the ball. Like that offense is running through him, and he may be setting up a guy on the second pass. There's a lot of things, that's kind of stuff goes overlooked when it comes to being a point guard. You may not be directly involved in getting the assist, but you're setting up the play for another guy to score. That's after the first pass. So Halliburton, amen. The Halliburton has returned for the meantime. Now let's see if they can replicate it in OKC.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the hard part.
Yeah,
and honestly, the thing with this series is this is a good indicator of coaching versus relying on talent. The OKC head coach, Mark Dagenhall?
Mark Dadenhall, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
he's not a terrible coach. He's not a bad coach. You're not a bad coach. You get the team to 68 wins and play great defense like that. But you can see the experience levels is on a different level between Carlisle and him, because Carlisle, he has like 900 games played in his career as a head coach. So you just see the experience, like you see the adjustments being made. And Mark, I think he's good at making adjustments for the next game, but in-game adjustments, I feel like he's lacking. Because if you see they're attacking you, they're not pressing you, they're not playing you 94 feet, guarding you 94 feet. You have to catch that quickly and move on to something else. And I didn't see them do much. It's kind of just like they kind of, I ain't gonna say they laid down, but they kind of just was like, we'll probably get them 7. And I can't say I fully agree with that, because you had an opportunity to win a championship in Game 6. So I'm just like, you gotta get your guys right. You gotta be able to have multiple counters in this Game 7, because if the Pacers hit you with something you're not ready for, and you just kind of like, the talent gonna have to win us the game, you're going to lose, because I'm pretty sure the Pacers are going to have at least 2 counters to whatever you could possibly throw at them. So you need to be having the counters to their counters. And I think a lot of people underestimate the level of the coaching prowess in the finals and in these playoff series, because we're so used to saying, whoever has the more loaded team or the best players is just going to win. Like, that's not always the case. Not always the case.
It's a great point. I want to show this. It's a good thing this person isn't a coach, because if they were a coach, my gosh.
Lord. Is this Stephen A? Is this Stephen A?
Let me show my screen real quick. It says, Stephen A says, this is before Game 6, by the way. He says this is going to sound crazy, what I'm about to say. If I'm OKC, I actually employed a tactic of not pressing Halliburton because he's limited. Let me let that fat Cade be out there that he can go. I don't want to deal with Facade. I said fat Cade. Yeah, Facade. Facade. I don't want to deal with that Energizer Bunny's TJ McConnell.
So you mean to tell me you'd rather deal with this all-star starting point guard over the bench role player in TJ McConnell, even though TJ McConnell has been playing a very good series? Listen, man, this why I don't watch them 4-letter networks anymore, unless it's NFL Live.
So I just want to bring that up because it's hilarious to me how somebody like Stephen A. he always says that, I learned the game from yada yada yada. I be talking to this person, this legend, this person, this coach. They be teaching me the game, and then he comes on the network and say something like this. Like, bro, you're not an expert at the NBA. Let the experts talk about the X's and O's. Play the point guard role. It's okay to be the point guard. You don't have to be the shooting guard. You don't have to be the guy that shoots the buckets. Be Halliburton. Just pass the rock. Set up the question and let them do the explaining. Because oh my gosh, it's just that's like telling a pack of lions against a pack of deers, and the leader of the deers is limited. Like their leg is like all messed up, and you tell that pack of lions, no, don't worry about that deer that's injured. Go after the other deer. Go after the little baby deer, whatever they call a baby deer. Go after the little baby deer. A doe. Go after the little doe. Don't worry about the deer that has the messed up leg. Like, what are we talking about?
Like, don't worry about the injured buck. Go after the doe. Like,
that's insane. That's insane, because if you know that Halliburton is limited, why wouldn't you want to press him more?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you? Because it's going to be a lot easier for you to press him. And here's another thing, Brian. This entire series, it has worked. They have been pressuring
pressure,
Halliburton the entire series. They've been playing tight defense on him, and he's had a hard time of creating his own shot against Dort, against other guys, because he either doesn't have the foot speed, he doesn't have the talent, the physicality to be able to take the bumping, whatever it is. That it's worked. Why would you go against that? That just makes no sense to me. For TJ McConnell, like TJ McConnell, God bless TJ McConnell, but this is getting Matthew Dellavedova levels of insane, because TJ McConnell he's good. He'll give you a good 15 points. He'll give you a good 12 points, but he's not going to generate so much offense that it's going to hurt you overall. So that was just egregious.
The whole Dellavedova thing. Dellavedova had like one game he guarded Curry somewhat decent. He was getting torched the rest of the series. Like, people have revisionist history. I was at the time I was listening to all this Dellavedova. He was like, he's the Curry star. I'm like, are we watching the same game? He's getting his face fried off. So I'm like, I'm just confused, man. I feel like a lot of these times these 4-letter analyst dudes, they get on national TV and try to sound smarter than everybody, and they end up saying stupid stuff in the process. It's just insane to me.
We going
like no NBA coach is thinking like that. Not even Darvin Ham. Like, even Darvin Ham wouldn't be saying no silly stuff like that. That is insane.
We're gonna get to the ring culture stuff later.
We put Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert had real analysis on the game when he was on with Brian Windhorst after game 6. I mean game 5. We need more of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I would have seen the clip of what he was saying in game 6. But yeah, he was actually breaking down the game.
It was.
Like, we need more former players like that on the TV, not Kendrick Perkins and all them dudes.
I did a whole video on how ESPN First Take fell off, and it's funny because I talked about all that stuff. But if anybody is watching the live stream, go check out that video. Link will be in the description for that. But yeah, man, the whole network, it fell off. But anywho, but yeah, speaking on the game with Halliburton, I thought Halliburton, he played well, regardless of his situation. He only had 1 turnover, which is great, because last game he had 3 turnovers.
Yeah,
he pushed the pace. He pushed the pace really well. He really did. It's not just about the assist, like you mentioned. It's about pushing the pace. It's about getting the offense, making sure it's flowing. He wasn't a net negative towards this team. He was actually part of the reason why they were winning, why they were scoring, because in the other game, he didn't really do much. When they were getting back in the game, it wasn't because of him. It was his other teammates. So I'm glad that Halliburton, he had an effect. A lot of his scoring wasn't because he was creating him by himself. It was due to the fact that OKC turned the ball over. It was a scramble. It was a lot of freelancing, and ultimately he was able to get the ball. He was able to move. Sometimes it just comes down to the fact that you're able to create off ball, or you're able to take advantage of the other team's mistakes. And he was able to do that, and he was able to get a couple threes off. And that's that. And he was able to get a floater off as well. So salute to Halliburton. Game 7 is going to be really interesting how they're able to just consistently produce points on the road, because they've been having a problem produce points in OKC. So I'm wondering how Halliburton is going to look come Sunday compared to Thursday, where he had a better job. He had an easier opportunity of getting some points off the turnovers. That's another thing. Matter of fact, let me see if I can share my screen real quick, because
one thing I will say about the Pacers that is nearly all inspiring to watch, the way these dudes can maintain and make something happen when a play is broken or a play breaks down, is a scramble for the ball. They just consistently find ways to score. It is insane. Like, they revel in chaos. I'm like, yo, this is nuts. You could feel like you get a hand on the ball and they still somehow score. I'm like, these dudes are insane. I'd be so mad if I had to play against them dudes.
Look at so OKC turned the ball over 21 times. Points conceded off of turnovers is 19 points. Pacers had 22 points, fast break points. So yeah, that just lets you know. The Pacers, they were getting out of there. They were pushing the pace. They were turning the ball up. They were forcing turnovers on OKC, and it worked. It really worked overall for them. So salute to the Pacers. Their defense, it worked. It really made, like I said, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander uncomfortable. There was never a time where it looked like Shai understood, knew exactly what the Pacers were doing. It felt like he was in scramble mode. It felt like he was seeing ghosts at times, like that meme. And I'll say this. Let me say this. If the Pacers win this series, you know that meme, that SpongeBob meme with Mr. Krabs. He got the fire. And it looked like he telling a story.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those because I gotta tell, like, for generations, I'm gonna be telling the story of the fact that this Pacers team did something that I never thought was possible. But yeah, man, just your thoughts. If the Pacers win this series, what is the story of this Pacers team if they win this series?
If they win the series, the story of this Pacers team is that them 16 games matter a whole lot. All that regular season winning folks is doing is cool and all, but when you got to play them 16 games in that tournament style, listen, it's a whole different ball game. A lot of dudes written. I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them. A lot of people written them off. They wrote them off. They said, "Oh man, anybody worry about Tyrese Halliburton?" And no, they showed it. They shot after shot, game after game. They are essentially, they're like Kingslayers. If they win this title in Game 7, I think they earned the title of Kingslayer as a team because they knocked off. I don't think they were a favorite for any series they was in except for Milwaukee. Every other series, I think they were the underdog.
I think they had Knicks. I think they had Knicks.
They were the favorite against the Knicks.
I think they probably.
You sure?
Yeah, a lot of people picked the Pacers to win. I would be shocked if they didn't weren't the odds-on favorites against the Knicks.
Well, either way,
yeah, they won. So who matters?
Yeah, they defied all the. It's a very impressive team, man. Very impressive team. A good collection of dudes that know what to do, know how to play the game. Isn't no ego on the team. It's just a bunch of dudes doing what needs to be done to get it done. So, man, it'd be a crazy thing to witness if they were to go on the road, winning Game 7 against a team like the Thunder. They ain't no slouch. It's a borderline historical team. And I see in the corner you got the picture of Mr. Krabs.
Gather around, kids. I'm gonna tell you a story about one of the most
25
ridiculous
in the Pacers.
One of the most absurd NBA Finals teams we've ever seen. The 2025 Pacers. I ain't never seen so much black magic used by one team.
I'm starting to believe they got real black magic, devil magic. You see, Siakam was possessed before the game.
I know.
What is that? Like, that is clear, concrete evidence that something sinister is going on. We got concrete proof now.
Yeah,
we got them.
Yeah.
The OKC Thunder need to pull the Eagles and have a priest on the sideline on courtside to negate this foolishness.
Really? I mean, it's going to be on Sunday.
Yes, we have proof.
It's going to be on Sunday, so they got a chance.
Indiana
got a chance. So for me, I think the story of the Pacers, if they win this series, is their depth. When we look back on this team, we're going to say, yeah, they have a star player. They have 2 star players, but that depth, that rotation that they have, the collection of guys. Normally, people say 1 through 7, 1 through 8. That's all you need. But the Pacers, they went 1 through 10, and they can just plug and play different dudes that can contribute. And then we look at Rick Carlisle, we look at him and we say, this is an all time coaching job. So when we look back, I'm going to say it wasn't just Tyrese Halliburton and Siakam. It was a collection of dudes that stepped up to the table when their number was called and they produced. Whatever they needed, whatever the team needed, they delivered. And that's going to be the story of the Pacers if they win this series, in my opinion. It's the coaching and it's the collection of guys. It's like NFL, really. It's like an NFL team where you look at Jalen Hurts and you say, Jalen Hurts is a good QB, but I'm not going to just say, oh, he was the sole reason. No, you had a Saquon Barkley. You have an A.J. Brown. You have an offensive line. You have a defensive line with Jalen Carter. You have a secondary. It's a collection of guys. It's not just one person that is the show. No, it's a collection of dudes. And the Indiana Pacers is the same thing. It's a collection of guys coming together and playing their role. Will this change the overall fabric of the NBA? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, people are still going to look at it to where you need two superstars or a superstar and a star, and then 6 more guys in order to win a championship. This team is an anomaly, and we need to appreciate the fact that they're able to force a game 7 against a team that won 68 games, all-time great defense, the MVP, an all-NBA caliber player, and a collection of guys that are very talented. And that's going to be the story for me. That's going to be the story. So let's pick the game. Who do you have going into game 7?
My pick to win the NBA championship, the Larry O'Brien in a game 7 series.
Yeah.
I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Thunder. I think the Thunder, when it comes to game 7s, your stars got to show up. I will say that. Your stars have to show up. We've seen the last game 7, LeBron and Kyrie, Kyrie hit a huge shot, but LeBron also set up a block a minute and some change before that. So your stars have to show up. In my opinion, I'm going to go with the better dudes in the game 7 most of the time, even though the Pacers have proven they can win regardless of the, I guess, whatever talent gap you may think exists. I think the Thunder, I don't think Shea going out like that. We've seen them respond very well when they take a loss, is good or bad. Close game loss, he comes back and responds the next game. They have the home crowd. It's going to be rocking in there. Like, they haven't seen a game 7 in OKC since. Have they ever had a game 7 there?
So that's a great, man. Have they had a game? Man, that's a great point. I think they have. They've had a game
I think
against the Grizzlies. That was a long time ago. Against the Grizzlies.
That was a long time ago. That was when the Thunder, it was KD and them was still young. So it's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be rocking, and I can't wait to see that atmosphere. I'm gonna have to turn the TV up. I wish I could mute the commentary and just hear the crowd noise. But man, it's gonna be rocking. I think OKC. This game is going to be close. This game 7, I believe, is going to be a close game 7. I hope it's not like OKC just gets out early and they just kind of maintain like a 15-point lead for them. I don't want that. I want a close back and forth affair. I want to be nailed. I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to stand up. And it's not even my team playing. I want to stand up when it gets down to the wire. But I do believe OKC, I think we're going to get good performances out of Jalen Williams, Shea, and I even think Chet is going to have to show up. We're going to need better than what he shot. 2 for 9 from the field. Like, you're 7 foot tall. Play like it. I mean, seriously, there's no reason why you're shooting 2 for 9 from the field as a 7 foot tall player. It's ridiculous. I think we're going to get good performances from those 3. That is going to be the key for them to win. And their head coach, you're going to have to scheme. You're going to have counters ready. You can't just go out there and say, we're going to outplay you because we just got better dudes. No. The better dudes method works, but you also got to coach at the end of the day. So long as those 3 show up, I like their chances significantly because Tyrese Halliburton is still hobbled. Let's not forget that. You got to punish the minutes where TJ McConnell's on the court. He had more minutes than them the last game. You got to take advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you make a great point. I think I was listening to Draymond
Okay.
Green, and he had a video that said he believes that Rick Carlisle hasn't showed all his cards yet,
I
and
believe it.
he still has something up his hand. And I think one thing that he said was I would blitz Jalen Williams every time in the pick and roll because he's not comfortable when a team blitz him in the pick and roll. So I'm curious to see how Indiana schemes up certain defensive just defenses for pick and roll and other things. I'm curious how they do that because they were very successful in game 6 in what they did. And for OKC side of things, Shea can't be tunnel vision this game.
No.
He cannot be tunnel. That's one of the things Shea has just been bad this series is that he'll have games where boy, he's not even looking to pass or he'll look lost. Whatever defensive scheme that Indiana is throwing at him, he looks lost at times. That he's just chucking up shots. I
Like once
cannot have
he gets past that 3-point line and he got a 1-on-1, he looking to score.
Yo, we cannot have Shea with tunnel vision.
And that's why he got caught in the trap.
Yes,
coming up, weak side defender. He's coming up. He's making a play on the ball. You got to look to facilitate in that situation. You know they're bringing the double.
Exactly, and there was other times where I think may have been Turner, it may have been Obi Toppin, where they would bring a trap towards Shea, and he was having difficulties trying to break the trap, or he would try to continue to do what he did in game 1, where he would try to split the not double team. It was a drop coverage. He would try to split the drop coverage, but you got to remember Indiana already adjusted. They made sure that you're not going to be able to split the drop coverage as easily and turnover. So I just need Shea to really lock in this game and to not resort back to bad habits. If he can do that, they can definitely win. I need Shea to be more of that traditional point guard this game, not necessarily Jason Kidd, but I need 30 points. I need 10 assists this game. I cannot have 31 points on 42% field goal percentage and 0 assists. That cannot happen. I need Shea. I need all facets of Shea this game from an offensive perspective. It can't just be one-dimensional because, like I mentioned in the previous videos, if Shea is one-dimensional, if he's just a scorer, that plays into Indiana's hands. That's what Indiana wants. Shea has to be a better facilitator. He has to make his teammates better. If not, they're going to lose. They are going to lose because they rely heavily on Shea's ability to get into the key of that defense.
Pressure,
get into the middle of the court, and he's going to dish it out in the corner, in the wings, where a lot of times guys are open, and they make a lot of those shots.
Which is easy to do when they're guarding you 94 feet, but when they start only picking you up at half court or 30-something feet, is you giving them a lot of time to really set into that defense, and it's like, oh, well, that ain't gonna work. We gotta pivot.
Right.
In last game, they did not pivot.
I just need Shea to realize that because this is a big game. This is a really big game. Do or die.
Yeah.
Biggest game of his career, and this is going to really matter a lot for his legacy. I know we're talking about legacy talk, but no, this is really important because you never know what's going to happen after this series.
You may never make it back. Yeah.
Exactly.
No team has made it back to the finals.
Injuries, etc. And by the way, I said game 7 for the Thunder at home last time was against the Grizzlies. No, it wasn't. It was against the Nuggets that happened in round 2 this year. So they've had a game 7 before, but that wasn't even a contest that game. They cooked them in like the first 2 quarters. So yeah, man, Shea has to play a lot better, and Jalen Williams as well. He has to play better as well.
Absolutely, you absolutely got to play better.
I don't know if minus 40 was the worst. Matter of fact, let me was Jalen Williams plus minus the worst NBA Finals plus minus we've ever seen? I don't know because I've never seen a plus minus that bad.
That is shocking. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could go out there and play 10 minutes. It may not end up with a minus 40.
So he had the worst plus minus recorded in finals history.
That is crazy.
The second worst was Drew Holiday against the Mavericks in 2024. Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was the game that
how
the
you gonna
Celtics.
respond, Jalen
Yeah,
Williams?
that was the game the Celtics lost by like 40 against the Mavericks. The one time the
Yeah.
Mavericks won. So yeah.
Hey, how you gonna
Anywho,
respond?
yeah, how are you gonna respond? But anywho, I have
I
the
got a
Thunder.
bold prediction.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
Go
What are you
go
gonna
go
say?
no go with your go ahead.
Oh
Say
yeah,
yeah.
so I think the Thunder win this game. I think I agree with your assessment that the better dudes is gonna win. You got the MVP. You have Jalen Williams. You have the home court advantage on your side. Pacers role players tend to not play as well on the road against OKC. I don't see Obi Toppin having one of those great games, having that 20-point game. Nemhard, he's been hot and cold in certain spots. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been consistent offensively. I think Tyrese Halliburton has to get it going if they're going to win this game. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton can just be conservative on offense and allow other players to just score for him. Like, no, he has to put up some buckets as well. I just don't think he's going to be able to do that. Just watching some of the film, watching how he's getting his points, he's not creating for himself. He's not the reason why the points are coming. It's not because of him. It's because of turnovers. It's because of his teammates are dishing the ball and he's able to move without the basketball and find a way to get an open shot. I don't think that's going to occur a whole lot this game, and it's going to be very hard for him to score. Siakam, I think he'll get his 20 points, but I don't think it's going to be good enough, in my opinion, to offset whatever OKC is going to do this game. So, yeah, man, I got OKC.
We both got Thunder in 7.
Yeah, we got Thunder.
The bold prediction, I guess it may not be that bold, depending on how you look at it. I believe this game will come down to one shot.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Oh yes. My gosh.
Whether it be 10 seconds left in the game or less, I think it's going to be one shot that's going to decide the series.
Wow. I don't think that's cool. If that's, hey, I'm gonna be honest. If it's a close game, I'm taking Indiana.
That's not a bad bet. That is not a bad bet.
I'm taking Indiana if it's a close game. Bad bet. I'm not taking OKC. And I like Shea. Shea, he's a clutch player. He's amazing. But, dude, if it's a close game like that, like what you say, nah. Absolutely not. I'm taking a better coach team. I'm taking a team that's executed a lot better. Nah.
That's crazy. That's not a bad bet. I honestly, if that game is close, I put a little something on, go on DraftKings, put a little paper put on the Pacers. If it's a 5-point game with 5 minutes left, man. Sorry, OKC, but I have to slide a little paper on Indiana.
Come fourth quarter, the start of fourth quarter, it's a 1-point game.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I should put a little money on Indiana real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Not a bad bet. It's not a bad bet.
Shoot. Yeah. I'm going Indiana if it's a 1-point game. It was like one shot, do or die for your life. Yeah, give me Indiana in that point. But if Indiana, in order for X factor for the games, who you think is the X factor for both teams?
X factor for the Pacers. I'm going to say Nemhard.
I like that.
Nemhard, because he's been guarding Shea very well this entire series. He's being aggressive, he's being physical, he's trying to, he's not allowing an easy switch on a pick and roll. And last game he got a shot going, he shot 3 for 5 from 3. If he can replicate, 17 points. If you can give a good 17 while playing hard defense, you put your team in a very good position to win this game. Because all Halliburton has to do, he doesn't have to go crazy. He doesn't have to put up a 30-piece in order to keep the game close. He can play off of the other guys and still have the game relatively close. So I'm gonna say Nemhard for the Pacers, just because of that defensive presence he brings to the number one option on the Thunder. And on the Thunder side, I'm gonna go Jalen Williams. You have to
Okay.
bounce back after that game. You have to. I'm not saying you got to go. I ain't saying you got to put up another 40 piece or nothing like that. But you have to be efficient and you got to be decisive with the basketball. You got to limit the turnovers and make smart decisions, play smart basketball, and also play good defense on the other end. So if I had to go, my two would be Nembhard for the Pacers, Jalen Williams for the Thunder.
I like the picks. For me, it's going to be the bigs. It's going to be Chet
I
Holmgren.
was
It's going
thinking
to
I
be
was going to
Miles
go
Turner.
Chet, but I'm like, okay.
So my X factor is for the Indiana Pacers. I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm gonna go Miles Turner this part alone because he's been awful this series. Yeah, they forced the game
He
7.
was bad last game. He was 1 for 9.
This is a game 7. You have to throw everything out the window for this one. The Pacers, they need Miles Turner to hit his shots. He's been awful. He's not connected on his 3-point shots at all. Defensively, he's been okay at certain times, but then at other times, Shea has been killing them on the pick and roll. I need Miles Turner to lock in this game because he's going to get a lot of wide open shots. They're going to leave him open in mid range, going to leave him open the 3-point line, and he's going to have to deliver, especially against this OKC team. And on the other end of the court, against Chet Holmgren, against Shea, against other guys in the pick and roll, he really needs to lock in. He really needs to do his job when they're double teaming, or if he's the guy that's the drop coverage guy, he has to do a good job of defending that pick and roll for OKC if they want to win this game. In my opinion, if Miles Turner has a great game, oh my God, it's going to be very hard for OKC to win because Tyrese Halliburton, he likes to run a lot of pick and roll. And with him and Turner, that's a dangerous combination. And he's getting a lot of open looks. That's going to do wonders for the Indiana Pacers offense. And overall for Tyrese Halliburton, it's going to open up a lot of things. So I think Miles Turner is huge for this game. And then on the other end, I think Chet Holmgren as well. What he did the previous games where he would just have a dud offensively, it really hurt their team and what they can do on the offensive and defensive end because they would take him out of the game and it would make it a lot easier for Indiana to do their offense, get to the paint, get to the lane, penetrate, dribble penetration. So I need Chet Holmgren to lock in as well as a defensive player on switches, being the drop coverage guy, and also on offense when he's the pick and pop guy. When you're running pick and roll with Shea and you're either the roller or you're the pick and pop guy, I need you to knock down your shots because he hasn't done a good job shooting as well. He's been horrific from the 3-point line. So I need him to lock in. And I think Chet Holmgren, he is the X factor for the Thunder in my book. And Indiana Pacers, Miles Turner is the X factor for them in my book. So those are the X factors for me. And in order for in order for Indiana to win, they just have to continue to do what they've always done, which is force Shea to be a scorer, not facilitator. If they can do that, if they can turn the ball over, if they can make Shea's life difficult, OKC's not winning.
Yep. Simple as that.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So yeah, transitioning, I want to get out of NBA Finals talk, and I want to talk about ring culture. We've talked about this before,
yeah, we talked about it last week. Yeah.
This time, I really want to get specific because Stephen A. First Take, they had a segment on ring culture. They had Gilbert Arenas, they had Tracy McGrady, they had Jay Williams on First Take at Fanatics Fest. I don't know what the hell is going on with Fanatics, but they have just rise to prominence over the past 5 to 6 years where now they have their own little festival. It's crazy. I don't know, some Illuminati stuff going on. I don't know what's going on. But anywho, they talked about ring culture, and I thought it was very interesting just how Stephen A. was looking foolish in the conversation with actual basketball guys. Because in the past, he would get away with saying the most egregious stuff. He would say something about, oh, you need that DNA, you need that ingredient, like a Larry Bird, like a Michael Jordan, like a Magic Johnson. Like, what the hell does that even mean? And not bring up LeBron James. I'm like, all right, what does that even mean? But ring culture, where are you on ring culture? I think we mentioned it before, but by the way, Colin Cowherd, he the volume on our story. They saw it, they liked it, but this could also apply to the NFL as well, especially quarterbacks, and how we value rings so much that we ignore everything else that happened in the resume. So where are you on ring culture? If you would rank rings from importance in terms of a player's resume, where would you even rank rings?
See, the whole rings argument is really depending on the context, because you can't convince me a guy like Robert Horry is greater than a guy like uh uh Charles Barkley because he has more rings. Like that you're just not ever going to be able to convince me that, because star players, yes, I know we would like star players to win rings, and all of the top players, most of the top players in the history of the sport has won a ring. But all of that is about context. You got to be put in the right position to win. You got to be put. Things got to go your way. A lot of times, winning rings, people don't want to hear, but a lot of the time it's luck. It's really just luck. Like, you gotta have the lucky matchup, a lucky bounce. Like, things have to go your way to win a ring. You can have put this phenomenal roster together and literally not get it done because of luck. Like, look at the Celtics. The Celtics, they were in another position. They were in prime position to possibly repeat, which a lot of people thought they were going to do, and then boom, Tatum tears his Achilles. The
Mhm.
Pacers, they just have a phenomenal run in the playoffs. Like, literally, all of this stuff is context based. Like, you cannot. It's not a guarantee in the NBA anybody's going to win anything. The Heat assembled one of the best teams we've seen in the 2000s in 2011, and they lost to the Mavericks. So, like, this stuff is all context based. It's so many things that go into it besides a player just being a star, so they're going to win. I think it's silly to look at the game like that. I do think rings are ultimately the most important because that is what you play the sport for, is to win a ring. But you have to use that ring in context with other things, like how many MVPs, how many personal comments, all NBA players, all stars, all of that stuff. You have to take all of that into account, because when you start looking at it from this microscope, then you open yourself up to an argument that this player who has more rings but isn't doesn't have the personal accomplishments of that person, you trying to say, oh, they're better than him. So that's why you have to look at it from a nuanced perspective. You can't
Mm.
just say, "Oh, this person has better rings, more rings, so they're better." Like, no, that's silly. That is silly. And I hate when people do it for the NFL the most, because the NFL, that is the hardest league to win multiple rings in. There are very few QBs. Let me try to name all the QBs that got multiple rings. I believe Troy Aikman got multiple rings. Tom Brady, of course. Joe Montana. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, which is funny, Pat Mahomes,
Roger Staubach.
oh yeah, Starback. I'm not trying to go too far back, because we're gonna be here all day. I think does Elway have two?
He does. He does have to.
Elway has two. It's like very few people. Very few people have multiple rings. Tom Brady got 7 of them. So he's significantly dropping the pool by himself. It's only been 50 something Super Bowls. So the whole ring argument people try to do in the NFL is silly. It is silly. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He has 1 ring. He's been to 1 Super Bowl, hasn't gotten back. It's
Facts.
so you mean to tell me Aaron Rodgers not as great because he only won 1 Super Bowl? Like, come on, let's be serious. Let's be very serious. People try to discredit, like, the whole, like, people just do that whole weird thing with the winner. Like, the show I work on, the host got on there. Kevin, that's my guy. I'm sorry to do this to you, but you got on live radio and said you have Jaden Daniels ranked ahead of Lamar Jackson. And Lamar has 2 MVPs, 1 unanimously. Like, we are losing the plot completely. We are losing the plot when it comes to wins and champions and ring culture. At first, I ain't understand the whole deal. Like, what is ring culture? Is it the whole point of to play to win the game? But now I'm starting to understand. I got my eyes were open years ago. I was like, okay, the way these people talk about the game, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People legitimately trying to say LeBron isn't a top 3 player all time because of he got to so many finals and only has 4 rings. Like, what? 4 rings in 20 years, that's a solid ratio. He's winning a ring like every 5 years. That's not bad.
That's true. True. When we make our all-time top 10 list, where we rank the top 10 best players ever, in my opinion, I'm going to do something different because in this year, looking at the way that I judge rings, I'm think a little differently because LeBron and the 4 and 6. Oh, he lost 6 times in the finals. Over the years, I used to knock him for it, but now I'm realizing that there's context behind those losses, and we can't just blame him for those losses. Not every loss is the same.
The
There
only
needs to be
finals I give
context.
LeBron real flack for losing is that Mavericks one.
Yeah, that's the only one where you can definitively blame LeBron for them losing. But all the other ones, there needs to be some type of context behind why did they lose? Was it his fault? What did the other team do? Did he
I can
have the
do it
better
right now. I'm not even a
personnel?
LeBron fan. They made finals in 07, right? The
They
07
did
finals.
against the Spurs. Yep.
Played Spurs. It's the freaking Spurs. Like, come on now. 11, he ain't gonna lie. LeBron meltdown.
Melted. Yeah.
2015,
No
Warriors was
Kyrie.
just Kyrie got hurt. Kevin Love got hurt. The Warriors was just better. 2017 super team. 2018 super team.
What is he supposed to do?
Beats me.
What is he supposed to do? So that's my thing. I'm not gonna. You have to have context with some of these things, and for knocking him to go to the going to the finals is hard.
Going to the finals 10 straight years is ridiculous.
That is difficult.
Like, that's no fluke. He was older. East was weak. Or LeBron was just very good. But then then them same people would get mad when people say Jordan ain't play nobody in the East. But no, Jordan was just that dominant. Why can't that same logic be applied to LeBron?
That's true. That's true. And then also when it comes to, I thought Tracy McGrady brought up a good point. I will say that some of his points was a little. I was like, all right, bro. Like you had some good team. I don't know what you're talking about. You never had the opportunity to play for a finals. Some of that was on you, but he did bring up a great point in that a lot of great players just didn't have the opportunity to compete for a championship because they didn't have a good enough team. It was just that plain and simple. They just went up against a better team, and they were just unfortunate. So what are they supposed to do in that scenario? And we look at them like, oh, he's a bum. Oh, this person sucks. Well,
he's an underachiever.
They went against a better team. What are they supposed to do? So you need to have context in a lot of these things, and we have to appreciate these guys' careers, especially if they make All NBA. If they're an MVP caliber player, if they're always in the hunt to win an MVP. If they won an MVP, we can't just shrug it off like it doesn't mean anything. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. MVP matters. All NBA matters. All defensive matters. All these things matter. It's not just about the championship. It's about the totality of their career, the resume, overall, what they did. When people just ignore all the other things that make them a great player, you look like a casual. You look like somebody that doesn't know basketball.
The whole ring culture, the ring culture defenders and all that stuff, they some hypocrites, because if ring culture matters so much, y'all care so much about rings, Jason Tatum wouldn't be getting as much flack as he always does. In y'all mind, he would be solidified instead because he won a ring. But you hear them people talk about Jason Tatum, like, oh, he didn't even do anything that finals. Like, so which one is it? Is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike? Does the ring matter, or now does context apply?
Right. And then also, were you the number one option or you were the number two option? Were you an all-star when you won a ring, or were you not an all-star? Because if you remember Scottie Pippen, the last ring, he wasn't an all-star. He wasn't the same Scottie Pippen where they won 72 games. That wasn't the same Scottie Pippen. So context matters in a lot of these things. How good were you when they won the ring? Were you the sole reason why you won the ring? It all matters. And that's why ring culture is very toxic. That's why ring culture, I'll never be that person that says rings is the all be all, because it lacks context in a lot of fashions. And Stephen A bringing up, oh, you got to have this certain ingredient of a player in order to be considered be respected. No, man. If you win a ring, if you were the number one option, if you were the reason they won, and you were a great player, why should we knock that person? Or if they didn't win a ring and they went up against a better team, why should we knock that person? Like, I don't understand that whole philosophy and thinking. It's just, to me, it's a casual way of thinking things. And I believe ball knowers like a Kevin Durant or LeBron or people like that, look at those conversations and they're like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Because if you remember, Brian, I remember maybe 15 years ago, it was around the time 2K12 came out. I know I'm bringing up 2K, but I remember a lot of folks were like, man, who are these Hall of Fame players? I never heard of this guy before. And people were appreciating these players. It was never about, oh, how many rings do they have? Oh, he didn't win more rings than this guy. It was, wow, I never heard of Jerry West before. I never heard of Elgin Baylor before, and this guy had like 10 All-NBAs. This guy was a great player back in the 60s and 70s. We would appreciate these players, but now we just ignore their accomplishments. We just say, oh, it's whatever. He didn't win a ring. He only won one ring. Who cares? Oh, he only won one ring. He's an underachiever. Like, what? What are we talking about?
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy, man. I don't get it. But anywho, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Courtside Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials, and check out our other channel. We are back in the NFL. We're going to be talking about the NFL starting today. So check out our main podcast channel, Courtside Podcast NFL. Links will be in the description for that. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of the Courtside Podcast NBA. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.
Salute.
All right.